Hey fellow Vault Dwellers, it's Angry Turtle, and today I have for you a full tier list for armor mods, regular armor and power armor. As well, I'm implementing some of your suggestions, so now on the screenshots I will try to keep the text bigger, and next to the name there is what it works for. So, example, first one, armor and power armor for both. And later on, when we finish the tier list, I will show you the best effects in-game, like a quick showcase, as you requested that. So that will be done. Now, let's start. Battle loaders. And this one, chance to instantly reload when bashing enemies. Normally quite useless, but Quad Dragon exists, and this effect works when bashing your teammate. So not entirely useless, it's a tier B of meta builds will enjoy that. Next one on our list, Aegis. For power armor only, very powerful. Adds all kinds of resistances for you and your teammates. Plus, it's fully stacked with all your teammates. The radius is quite generous, 50 feet, what in other words will be 10 foundations. So that's a solid distance stack. So basically, if you have full team, everyone is wearing Aegis, multiply the effect by 20 times. It's amazing. It's absolute S tier. Next one, bruisers. Many weapons deal 5% bonus damage, and unfortunately this is not great. As melee weapons benefit greatly from strength, this is additive bonus, adding to already stockpile of bonuses melee weapons have barely any noticeable difference if you are a melee build. It is a little bit of difference, but barely noticeable, so unfortunately I need to put it low, tier C. Next effect we have choo-choos. This is a really cool one. 10% chance to do 500 damage when sprinting into targets. 50% chance doesn't sound awesome, but it can be triggered multiple times if you keep running around the enemy, so it's basically guaranteed if you run a little bit more around those enemies. And 500 damage is a true damage, so enemy resistance cannot reduce it. Basically, 2 hits of choo-choo can put down a level 100 super mutant, which makes this a very powerful damaging effect. I will risk it and put it up as S tier. Next effect, limit breaking. Each worn armor piece reduces the cost of critical hits. And the cost we are talking about, it's not action points, it's how much of your critical meter will be used up to crit. So basically changes amount of luck required. Full set, put the amount of luck required if you have critical savvy equipped down from 33 to 14. Just 2 pieces, cut it down from 33 to 26. Very powerful limit breaking, very powerful for VATS users, especially if you cannot boost your luck very high. Is it S tier? I am not sure. It may be for some of the builds that do not want to use consumables, it's helping. I will put it under A. But for me, it's really close to S. So you could say A+. I will give it A+. Here you have it. A+ for limit breaking. The poisonous cloud that harms nearby targets for 10 seconds. The damage is not great. The radius is rather small. So it has some use case. It works on regular armor. That's probably the biggest benefit. There are not so many work on regular armor. But not great, I would say. Unfortunately, not great. It works. So, tier B. Next one, propelling. Movement and sprint speed increased by 5%, 25% full stack. This doesn't work. Movement speed bonuses in Fallout does not stack at all. There's cap limit. Most of them doesn't work. This one doesn't work. That's absolutely nothing. At first, fully deserved F. Next one. Radioactive powered. For power armor, gain 2 action point regen at cost of rats. It does serve some purpose. I would say 1 piece only. I would not recommend full set whatsoever. One piece for healing radiation, and that heals your rats. If you are full health, you want to heal your rats, it's nice. About action point regen, it only works when you are healing rats. Full set heal rats very fast, so most of the time you don't have any AP regen unless you are actively consuming some kind of toxic goo or other rat source. Therefore, I would say if you want one piece for healing rats, it is tier B, but one piece. Next one, reflective. Return 10% of damage received from an enemy target back towards them. 50% at full stack. Very useful. Worth to mention here, it does not reduce damage you are taking. It's only inflicting 50% of the damage that enemy is trying to deal to you back to this enemy. It does not do anything to reduce damage you are taking, and is not as powerful as Bullet Shield or Ricochet for ranged enemies, as there is no damage multiplication like in those perks, but does work on melee attacks, which is a big plus, so I would say a solid tier A. It cannot be a tier S because Choo-Choos will kill enemies faster, so Choo-Choos is a winner for damage dealing perks. Next one, Rangers. Range weapons deal 5% bonus damage, and this is very useful, works for armor, power armor, all weapons will benefit. So comparing it to your cards, let's say you are heavy gunner, master heavy gunner, 3-star card give you 20%. This one is slightly stronger, 25% if you have all the pieces. Yeah, solid. Unlike the melee bonus, this one is useful, as your range damage do not scale with any special. So solid tier A. Okay, managed to squeeze it over there. Now we have runners. Armor, power armor, sprinting, action point cost reduced by 20%. And if you have full set, sprinting doesn't cost any action points. Have no idea who would ever want that. You can achieve the same effect with different 4-star mod, just one. So, no. It's barely, like, it's better than nothing. So, as we already have propelling that doesn't work at all, and this that almost doesn't work, I am giving it, I mean, it does work, but it's not beneficial at all, almost. I'm giving it F+. Next one, Rejuvenators. And this one is absolute S tier. Gradually restores wearers and teammates health and action points within 50 feet radius. Very similar to how Aegis works. One difference. I don't know if that's bug or intended, but if you have Rejuvenators on yourself, your teammates will not give you any benefits. If you don't have any Rejuvenators yourself, up to effects of up to 3 teammates will stack on you if you don't have it. But if you do have it, they will not stack on you. Probably a bug, but at this moment, that's how it is. The effect itself is very powerful. It doesn't list stats, but from my experimentation, it is about 25 health and 25 action points per second. So, very powerful effect. Just 1 or 2 pieces are enough to sprint forever, as it does work when you are using action points like sprinting, or even inside of VATS. It does work inside of VATS. And one bonus for health regeneration, it does work after you are in a down state, reducing the risk of you instantly dying and not being able to get revived. So very powerful rejuvenators, absolute deserved S tier. Next one on our list, Sawbones. And this is like a poor brother of rejuvenators. It's only giving health regeneration, and it's 1/5 of the strength. Oh yeah, it does work, the advantage. This one can be used on regular armor. But it's very little of a bonus. But still, there is a bonus. I think tier B is deserved here. It's a hard competition with rejuvenators if you can choose. Next one is Scanners for power armor. action point cost of VATS attack reduced by 5% up to 25% on full stack. From my testing, it's better to have full set of rejuvenators than scanners. You will be able to stay in VATS for longer, but scanners do help to reduce your action point cost. So let's say you are spending 10 action points per shot. With this effect, you'll be spending 8. I think it's rounding up. Or if your shot costs 20 action point cost, it will be down to 15. So it is helpful. Not super powerful, but very helpful. I would put it at tier A, but not A+. Limit breaking is better, so not A+, just A. Next one, Stalwarts for Power Armor. Power Armor breaks slower for you and your teammates that are nearby. 25% at full stack. I mean, it does something. Barely any use case for that. Reaper kits are available and so on and so forth, but it does work on you and your teammates, so I think deserves at least tier C. So we'll give it tier C. Next one, Tankies. And this one sounds really cool. 200 damage resist for 10 seconds when standing still, but there is 20-second cooldown on it, which is not great. The total is a lot, but it's only regular damage resistance. The plus side is it will not trigger when you are not taking damage, so the cooldown will not be wasted just because you stopped somewhere for a second or two. It will activate when you are being under attack, which makes it kind of useful for stealth builds, as it does work when you are crouched, when you are sneaking. So let's say you are sneaking, attacking from cover, and then you are being shot. My enemy's tankies will activate and make you super tanky for a 10-second period, and then there will be 10 seconds cooldown afterwards. How good is that? It's not the best, but useful. So I would say a solid tier B. And now, according to your suggestion, so you can screenshot it, I tried to enlarge everything as much as possible, so it's all visible, including descriptions. Of course, A and S tier, they both amazing. Everything below, it's more questionable. S tier, I tried to pick only absolute monsters of 4-star legendary effects, so only 3 of those. Handpicked and selected based on my testing. And now let's jump to the game. Let me show you some of the best effects in action. And first, for the Aegis, you can see the stats in here with full team wearing this effect. So 20 pieces. The stats speaks for themselves. And I'm wearing here Excavator Power Armor. So in case of quad Aegis setup, it doesn't matter what power armor you are wearing, you will be a super tank. So first, Choo-Choo's full set on power armor combined with 1 rank of Pain Train, so it's easier to run through enemies, and you can see what's going on. 1 rank Pain Train is recommended if you want to use this setup. Okay, let me try to... Oh, now you can see. You see what's going on. You see why I classify it as S tier. You basically run through your enemies and you don't need to pay too much of an attention to do anything. You just fight them by running into them, and I wasn't paying attention at all to my health. Okay, this you need to pay attention if you unequipped most of the cards for testing. Okay, let's get this guy, let's sprint next to it. Can I still sprint next to it in place? Probably too far. Oh, no. Now both dead. Yeah, you just sprint around them and the chance will be triggering. So basically all those Blood Eagles have been annihilated by a Choo-Choo. Amazing perk, especially in big crowds like ghouls. And now power armor with full set of rejuvenators. So what I want to show you first is inside VATS and ability to tank damage. It's absolute beast. I'm not using any stim packs. Any healing that you see is just from rejuvenators. And now, look. Stop, Milox, I'm trying to pick one. Okay, never mind. Let's spend some action points here. And look at that. Inside that, action points are regenerating. When I'm using, action points are regenerating. So it's working. You can see how my health is quickly healing. Like, this is pure healing from this 4-star legendary effect. So I hope you agree. It deserves a tier S. It's way above anything else in game. Like, the power is comparable to constant Stimpak. And on top of that, it works on action point. And it works on all your teammates around you. If I would be to choose just one alone, that would be the effect of the S tier. Of course, the best option will be combination of that and Aegis. Imagine the team of rejuvenators, one rejuvenator, and 3 teammates with Aegis. It is just incredible. Like, there is no way you're gonna die in any normal scenario with full set of rejuvenators. Maybe some raid enemies like a turret could outdamage that, obviously they're crazy powerful, but none of the regular enemies, like Milo Queen, level 100, that's like the strongest hitting enemy there is. And maybe one more effect for showcase. So now we have reflectives in action. Don't look at the purple, that tankies effect from underneath my power armor. And now tankies. The advantage of tankies, I mean the advantage of reflective, not tankies. The advantage of reflective, it does work on melee attackers quite well. For melee attackers it's really good. For the range a little bit less. And it does carry over with the stagger effects and crippling effects, so the enemies will quicker disable themselves from action than kill themselves quite often. So more powerful effect will be Ricochet or Bullet Shield for all the range enemies. This one is really good for melee attackers. And the problem is, melee attackers, after they cripple themselves, they cannot melee attack you anymore. And that's how much damage this Milo Queen is actually doing. And I was previously healing all of that with rejuvenators. So I think that's a good showcase. There is more of that, but I don't want to make this video unnecessarily lengthy. I hope you enjoyed this tier list. Let me know what you think. What are you personally using with your setup, or what your goal is for 4-star legendary effect. And that being said, thank you a lot for watching, and see you all in the next one.